Everyone. We've all been there. Hurt, betrayed, misunderstood, or wronged by someone who never took responsibility for their actions. The temptation to retaliate or seek revenge can be overwhelming. But let me tell you something powerful. You don't have to lift a finger. Karma sees everything. Karma is the universal law of cause and effect. What you give out is what inevitably finds its way back to you. It's not always immediate, and it's rarely predictable, but it's consistent. Just like planting a seed, the results of our actions take time to grow. When someone chooses cruelty, betrayal, or deception, they may feel victorious in the moment, believing they've escaped accountability. But karma doesn't forget. It operates quietly, sometimes invisibly, collecting every intention, every action, every choice. And when the time is right, it returns those energies to the sender, often magnified in ways they never anticipated. This law isn't governed by emotion or bias. It doesn't care about status, cleverness, or manipulation. It simply responds to the energy and behavior people put into the world. That's why it's important not to become discouraged when someone who wronged you seems to be thriving. Appearances can be deceiving. Life has a way of balancing itself, of restoring what was broken, even if the timeline feels frustrating. The universe doesn't ignore injustice. It simply handles it in its own time and in its own way. When you understand the depth of karma, you learn to release the desire for revenge. You recognize that every action has a ripple effect, and those who spread harm cannot outrun the consequences forever. You learn to trust in a force greater than your need to make it right yourself, because karma isn't just about punishment, it's about restoration. And when someone causes pain, that pain will eventually return, not because you willed it, but because they willed it for themselves the moment they chose to cause harm. You don't need to seek revenge, as difficult as it may be, especially when you've been deeply hurt or betrayed. True power lies in restraint. Revenge often feels like justice in the moment, like the only way to make someone understand the pain they've caused you. But the truth is, it rarely brings the satisfaction we expect. Retaliation only extends the cycle of pain. It ties you to the very people who harmed you and traps you in a loop of negativity, draining your peace and slowing your healing. By choosing not to respond with vengeance, you reclaim control. You show that the person who hurt you no longer has power over your emotions or actions. Walking away doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're wise enough to understand that life has its own system of accountability. When you choose not to fight back in toxic ways, you step out of the storm and let life deal with what needs to be corrected. Often people who hurt others are already living in their own internal chaos. Their actions are a reflection of their own pain, insecurity, or lack of self-awareness. Letting karma handle things means recognizing that life will give them the lessons they need, lessons they can't avoid forever. And those lessons, when they come, will be far more impactful than anything you could have done. Your peace, your growth, and your happiness are not found in hurting someone back. They're found in letting go. And in that letting go, you make space for the universe to do its work. There is something immensely satisfying about watching time reveal truth, about seeing people confront the consequences of their own behavior without your interference. You don't have to get your hands dirty. You don't have to match their energy. Just stay grounded, stay silent, and watch. Life has a way of taking care of what needs to be handled. Patience and self-growth are more powerful than retaliation. When someone wrongs you, your first instinct might be to react, to prove a point, or to fight back with equal force. But the real strength lies in doing the opposite, pausing, holding your ground, and redirecting that energy inward. Instead of letting someone else's actions define your behavior, you choose to grow beyond the situation. That kind of maturity is a quiet rebellion against the chaos they tried to create in your life. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. It happens in pain, in betrayal, in silence. It's in the moments when you could have lashed out but chose to reflect instead. It's in the decision to heal rather than hurt, to rise instead of sink to their level. Every time you resist the urge to strike back, you build a deeper resilience. You start realizing that your peace is too valuable to be handed over to someone who didn't care enough to treat you right in the first place. And while they remain stuck in the same patterns that caused harm, you evolve. You become wiser, stronger, more self-aware. The path of growth might not feel as immediately gratifying as revenge, but in the long run, it transforms you in ways that retaliation never could. When you choose growth, you free yourself. You no longer need closure from them. You create closure within yourself. You learn to find validation not in their regret or their downfall, but in your own progress. Being patient doesn't mean being passive. It means being intentional. It means understanding that the best response isn't always loud or dramatic. Sometimes the most powerful response is silence, success, and the peace that comes from knowing you took the higher road. While karma works in the background, you focus on building a life so full, so grounded, that their actions no longer hold weight. That's not weakness, it's power. And it's the kind of power no one can take from you. Watching karma unfold brings a unique sense of closure, one that doesn't require confrontation, apologies, or revenge. It's not about celebrating someone's downfall, but about witnessing the balance of life slowly restore itself. When someone wrongs you and walks away without remorse, it can feel like justice will never be served. The pain they caused may linger in your heart, and the injustice may echo in your mind. But over time, life has a way of unraveling things. The truth rises. The energy they put out comes back around. And you, as a silent observer, get to watch everything shift. Karma doesn't move on your timeline. It doesn't always strike fast or publicly. Sometimes it works in ways that are subtle, almost poetic. The very same traits that allowed someone to hurt you, deceit, arrogance, selfishness, eventually become the seeds of their own suffering. They may repeat their patterns, push away others, or sabotage themselves without even realizing it. Slowly the mask slips, and they're left to face the consequences they once thought they escaped. And you don't have to say a word. You don't have to be involved. That's the beauty of karma. It doesn't require your participation. While they're facing the mirror they've spent years avoiding, you've already begun your journey toward peace. You're healing, you're rebuilding, you're moving forward. There is something deeply satisfying about realizing that you don't need to win against the person who wronged you. The win is in your recovery, your freedom, and the eventual realization that they never really got away with anything. They only postponed the reckoning. The universe doesn't forget. And when it returns what's due, it often does so in a way that teaches deeper lessons than any confrontation ever could. That moment of clarity, when you see the tables turn without your effort, is more powerful than any revenge could offer. It's justice, delayed, but deeply delivered. Focus on your peace, not their punishment. It's easy to get caught up in thoughts of what they deserve, how life should come back around to humble them, or how justice should unfold in your favor. But that kind of thinking, while human and understandable, only keeps you tethered to the pain they caused. The longer you spend mentally revisiting their wrongs, the longer they occupy space in your life they no longer deserve. True freedom begins the moment you shift your focus inward, toward your own peace, your own healing, your own growth. Peace is not just the absence of conflict. It's the ability to breathe deeply, sleep soundly, and walk through life without carrying the heavy baggage of resentment. It's the soft power of knowing that you no longer need to prove anything, not to them, not to the world, not even to yourself. When you prioritize peace, you allow yourself to step out of the cycle of emotional chaos they tried to pull you into. You reclaim your time, your energy, and your sense of self. There's a profound difference between watching someone be punished and choosing not to care about their fate at all. When you stop needing them to suffer, in order for you to feel okay, You step into a higher state of being. That's not indifference. It's evolution. Because the truth is, the person who hurt you is already dealing with far more than you may ever see. Whether it's regret, guilt, or just the hollow existence that comes from constantly living in negativity, they carry their own burdens. You don't need to carry any of it with them. The best kind of revenge isn't revenge at all. It's rising. It's walking away with dignity, building a life so beautiful and full that it reflects nothing of the pain they caused. That's where your power lives. Not in waiting for karma to strike, but in knowing you've already won the moment you chose peace over poison. The more you pour into yourself, your healing, your joy, your future, the less you even think about what they're getting or what they've lost. Because the only thing that truly matters is what you've found in the process, your strength, your peace, and the unshakable realization that you never needed to be vindicated. You just needed to be free. Healing is the real victory. When someone wrongs you, it's natural to want them to feel what you felt, to hurt the way you hurt, to face consequences equal to the pain they caused. But over time you come to realize that justice isn't always about punishment. Sometimes it's about rising from the ruins they left behind and becoming whole again, stronger, wiser, and no longer defined by what happened. Healing is the quiet revolution. It's not loud or dramatic. It happens in the small moments, when you no longer cry over what once broke you, when your heart softens instead of hardens, when you remember what happened without letting it control your emotions. Healing doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean pretending it didn't hurt or excusing the behavior. It means acknowledging the truth, facing it head on, and choosing to move forward anyway. It's about reclaiming your narrative, no longer being the victim in someone else's story, but the survivor, the one who refused to be destroyed. And that, more than anything, is a win. Because while they may go on pretending, denying, or avoiding their wrongs, you've done the real work. You've sat with your pain, you've learned from it, you've transformed it. When you truly begin to heal, you stop needing apologies that will never come. You stop hoping for validation from the very people who didn't see your worth. Your sense of self becomes grounded in something deeper, an inner knowing that you're more than what happened to you. And as you grow into that space, you begin to see the situation for what it really was, a turning point, not an ending. There is immense power in being able to say, I'm okay now, not because the past was fixed, but because you refuse to let it define your future. The person who heals is the person who wins, not the one who yells the loudest, or gets the last word, or even sees karma land, but the one who walks away with their heart intact and their peace reclaimed. Healing is the ultimate triumph, because it puts you back in control, not of them, not of what happened, but of yourself. And that's something no one can ever take from you again. Letting go is not weakness. It's liberation. It might feel at first like giving up or surrendering when you decide to release your grip on the pain, the anger, and the desire for justice. But in reality, letting go is one of the most courageous and empowering acts you can take. It means you are no longer allowing what someone did to you to control your mood, your choices, or your future. It means you've come to a place where you value your peace more than holding on to a story of betrayal. Letting go doesn't mean that what happened was okay. It doesn't mean you deserved it or that the other person was right. It simply means you're refusing to allow the weight of that experience to keep you stuck. You are acknowledging the pain, learning the lesson, and choosing to rise above it. When you carry around resentment, it doesn't hurt the other person, it hurts you. It poisons your joy, clouds your thinking, and keeps you emotionally tied to someone who no longer belongs in your life. Letting go cuts that cord. It sets you free. There is real strength in saying, I won't carry this anymore, because it takes courage to stop replaying the past and start building your future. It takes maturity to stop waiting for someone else to fix what they broke and take full responsibility for your healing. The freedom that comes from letting go isn't loud or showy. It's quiet, steady, and deeply transformative. It allows you to breathe again, to love again, to hope again. It gives you back to yourself. So many people stay stuck because they think moving on means losing. But the truth is, you win the moment you stop needing them to feel your pain and instead focus on creating your joy. You become powerful when you decide that your life deserves more than bitterness, more than what ifs, more than someone else's shadow. Letting go is not forgetting. It's choosing to no longer suffer for something that's already behind you. You may never get an apology, an explanation, or closure from them, but you can give all of that to yourself. And in doing so, you reclaim not only your story, but your soul, because the strongest people are not those who hold on the longest, but those who know when to finally release what no longer serves them. Success is the loudest silence you can offer to those who doubted, hurt, or betrayed you. When someone wrongs you, they often expect you to crumble. They expect their words or actions to define you, to dim your light, to slow your momentum. But when you take that pain and channel it into purpose, when you turn your scars into strength and keep building a life rooted in peace, growth, and happiness, you prove something far greater than revenge ever could. Your success becomes the response they can never argue with, the answer to every insult, every dismissal, every attempt to break you. Success doesn't just mean financial wealth or public recognition. It means waking up without bitterness in your chest. It means learning to smile without forcing it, to laugh without pretending. It's peace in your mind, strength in your soul, and joy in your daily life. It's moving forward when they thought you'd be stuck. It's creating beauty out of brokenness. And it's becoming the person you were always meant to be, unapologetically whole, in spite of everything. There's a quiet but undeniable power in not explaining your side, not proving your worth with words, but simply showing up every day and thriving. It's the shift from trying to convince others of your value to embodying it so fully that it can't be ignored. And while they may never admit it, while they may never acknowledge the impact they had or how wrong they were, they will feel the difference. They'll see you rise and realize, whether silently or aloud, that they couldn't stop you. This kind of success isn't about them, it's about you. It's about proving to yourself that you are not defined by your pain, but by your perseverance. It's about rewriting the narrative, showing that you didn't just survive what they did, you evolved because of it. And perhaps the most profound part is this: while they remain trapped in the same patterns, you're outgrowing every version of yourself that once carried the weight of their actions. Success is healing, it's self-respect, it's freedom. It's living your truth so boldly that the past loses its grip on you. And in doing so, you say everything that needs to be said without ever speaking a word. Energy doesn't lie, and eventually it all returns. Every action, every word, every intention carries energy. Whether it's kindness or cruelty, love or manipulation, what we put into the world leaves a mark, not just on others, but on our own path. You may not always see it immediately, and it may not always unfold the way you imagined, but energy finds its way back. Those who wronged you, those who operated from a place of ego, malice, or selfishness, will one day have to face the reality they created. Because the universe may be slow, but it is precise. It doesn't forget. And what goes around always, eventually, comes around. The truth is, people can pretend, they can mask their intentions, wear false smiles, or spin stories to protect their image. But energy can't be disguised, not from the universe, and not from life itself. People who operate in darkness attract darkness. And even if they appear to be succeeding for a while, that success is hollow. It's built on shaky foundations. It's haunted by what they've done, and one day that foundation begins to crack. Not because you wish them harm, but because energy demands balance. You don't need to curse anyone. You don't need to hope for their downfall. You just need to trust in the energy you put out and the energy they did. If you stayed true, if you acted with integrity, if you loved and gave sincerely, then trust that what you gave will come back to you multiplied. And what they gave will return to them too, often in ways they never anticipated. You see, the beauty of energy is that it works in silence. It doesn't need to make announcements or demand recognition. It simply flows, adjusting the course of things until everything aligns with the truth. And when you understand that energy governs outcomes far more than appearances, you stop needing to prove anything. You stop obsessing over who's watching, who's winning, or who's pretending. All that matters is the energy you carry. Protect it, nurture it. Make sure it reflects who you really are, not what others tried to make you. Because when you focus on keeping your energy clean and intentional, you naturally rise. And while they're busy managing the mess of their own making, your path will unfold with clarity and grace. Energy doesn't lie, and sooner or later, it brings everyone exactly what they've earned. When you take the high road, it might feel like you're giving up the chance to fight back or defend yourself, but in reality, it's a choice rooted in power, not weakness. Choosing not to engage in petty arguments, not to lower yourself to the level of someone who wronged you, is one of the strongest decisions you can make. It's a testament to your self-worth and understanding that you don't need to justify yourself to anyone. People who hurt others often want a reaction, a sign that they've gotten under your skin, that they still have some kind of hold over you. But when you walk away in silence, when you rise above, it's like taking the air out of their attempt to control you. It's showing that their actions cannot dictate your emotional state, that you are impervious to their negativity. In moments of conflict, especially when wronged, it's easy to fall into the trap of seeking retaliation or trying to make the person feel the pain they caused you. However, engaging in this cycle only keeps you trapped in the same low frequency of negativity that they operate from. By taking the high road, you consciously choose to step out of that cycle. You break the pattern of reactivity and instead respond with dignity and self-respect. This not only keeps your integrity intact, but it also teaches you a vital lesson in self-control. It shows that your peace is too valuable to be interrupted by someone else's inability to respect it. When you don't let people's behavior drag you down, you also remove their power over your mental and emotional state. That is true freedom. You are no longer a prisoner to the wrongs they've done to you. When you let go of the desire to get even, you free yourself from carrying that burden. You release the weight of revenge, resentment, and anger, which can only slow your progress. You stop allowing someone else's actions to dominate your thoughts, and instead, you focus on your own journey, your healing, your growth, and your evolution. This freedom is priceless, and it empowers you to create a future that's not defined by the past, not held hostage by someone's mistreatment. The high road is not an easy path to walk. It takes tremendous strength and courage to maintain your composure in the face of hurt and betrayal. It takes even more strength to resist the urge to prove your worth or retaliate. But every time you choose to walk that path, you reinforce your own resilience and show yourself that you can endure without losing who you are. Every time you rise above negativity, you build a sense of self-confidence that is unshakable, a quiet power that others can't touch. The high road teaches you that your actions and your character are what truly define you, not how others treat you. By choosing the high road, you also allow yourself the space to heal. The constant energy spent on trying to get revenge or constantly reliving the hurt prevents you from moving forward. But when you let go of the need for validation or retaliation, you open up space for your heart to heal, for your mind to clear, and for your spirit to grow. This healing isn't just about overcoming the pain, it's about becoming stronger in the process. It's about learning how to stand tall in the face of adversity and saying, "This won't break me." Choosing the high road accelerates that healing, enabling you to step into your future, unburdened by past wounds. The high road also teaches you a deeper understanding of your own worth. When you choose not to stoop to someone else's level, you are saying that you value yourself too much to get involved in their drama. You understand that you are better than that, and that your time, energy, and emotional investment are far too precious to be spent on people who don't respect you. By not engaging, you reinforce the idea that you deserve peace and respect, and that you will no longer tolerate anything less. This clarity in your self-worth changes the way you see yourself and others, making it easier to recognize when to walk away from situations that no longer serve you. Every time you choose the high road, you build your character. It's easy to get caught up in the rush of emotions, to let anger or frustration drive your decisions. But real strength is found in the moments when you make a conscious choice to act with grace, to rise above the temptation to react in ways that would lower your standards. These decisions define who you are in the world, and set the tone for how others treat you. When you choose integrity, kindness, and composure, you teach people how to treat you by showing them what you will and won't accept. Over time, you create a reputation for yourself that attracts respect, not because of your ability to fight back, but because of your unwavering commitment to being the best version of yourself. The high road doesn't mean you suppress your emotions or ignore your pain. It means you choose to respond in a way that aligns with your values, not with the energy of those who hurt you. You can acknowledge your pain, feel the sadness or anger, but then choose to channel those emotions into growth rather than destruction. This conscious response is what leads to healing and transformation. It's not about being perfect, it's about being authentic in your desire to rise above, to learn, and to become a more peaceful, powerful version of yourself. Lastly, walking the high road brings peace not only to your soul, but to your life as a whole. It removes the constant drama, the mental clutter, and the toxic energy that revenge and bitterness bring. It allows you to focus on what truly matters: the love you give, the life you create, and the legacy you leave behind. When you stop investing in the negativity of others, you free up space for joy, purpose, and success. You start attracting people who resonate with your energy, who respect you for the strength you demonstrate, and who see you as a role model of resilience and grace. The high road leads to peace because it brings clarity of purpose, and with that clarity, you find the freedom to live a life that is authentically your own.